What's in the cards for you today and this week ahead? Holy cannoli. Hi, I am excited to be here with you to talk about the weekly energy weather report, to talk about all things moon, astrology, sacred practices, to enable you, beautiful, kind, compassionate empath that you are, to enable you to step into the life that you were born to live. This is my joy to share these sacred practices and what's going on energetically. And what we do each week is we break down where's the moon, what's it doing. We use the tarot to help us open up the dialogue, have a deeper conversation about what's going on so you can have some introspection. And this week I'm excited because this week I really feel that we are on the precipice of finally being able to move forward again. And I'll explain why. Julie, hi. Definitely say a quick hello. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to make our community even smaller and connect with one another around the world. But what I wanted to say is, as we're going into this week, one of the very big things from an astrological front, hello, Shannon, great to have you. One of the big things happening is Mars is going direct. So I just did a wonderful reading for a client where she was looking to move. She wanted to know, where in the world can I move where I can achieve success in my business? I can make great friends, have community for my family, and just be able to really feel like her business can move forward again. And it's a practice called astrocartography. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. It's a lot of fun. She had two places in mind. It's always good to start with where you have that natural intuitive calling, because if you're called to go visit someplace in the world, if you're called to move there, there's a good reason something's going on. So we were able to do a deep dive into these places that her heart has been longing to move to, and to see just the ways that it can open up possibilities and potential for her business, because we have access to different areas of our own natal potential, of what our spirit intended when we came into this lifetime. That's our natal chart. It said, hey, this is the blueprint for success. This is what we want to achieve as a spiritual being having a human experience. We're going to be born at this exact moment, time, and place so that the stars are aligned in the heavens above, enabling you to grow and evolve and achieve those things that your spirit really hoped to in this lifetime. And sometimes in certain parts of the world, it's a little easier than others. Just think about it just from a career viewpoint. Let's say you want to go into being an astronaut or going into the space program. If you're living in the middle of, let's say a cornfield in the middle of America, it might be challenging. Maybe you decide, oh, I'm going to go, to Florida or go to Texas, where there's more opportunity, where I can physically be there and have access to these kinds of jobs. I had another client too who's in finance, and for her, being on the East Coast, it's a lot easier to get access to the jobs and the network. So something as simple as that, or sometimes just family, being by your roots, getting to know where you come from, it can be very powerful. Hello, Hannah, great to have you. So when we are looking at all of this energy, when we're looking at this soul potential and what's happening, one of the things that came up in conversation with this client was she really had felt frustrated and stuck. Another key piece of this, not only like where we live on the planet, but Mars has been retrograde. And many people have felt like they've been running in quicksand. Let me know if you've felt that way. If you feel like I'm just trying to get ahead, but I'm not going anywhere fast. If you feel like you've got all these great ideas, but they're just fizzling out, or you're running out of steam, running out of energy. Part of that is because Mars has been retrograde. So it's almost like this rubber band that keeps getting pulled back and back and back and back. Well, when Mars goes direct on Sunday, we're going to find that all of a sudden the energy starts to shift. Now, ideally, we're not going to spring forward like a rubber band ready for the next step. But if we prepare ourselves, and this is what I was telling my client, is take time to prepare yourself. Because when people talk about luck, lady luck, it's really where preparation and opportunity meet. So if we are prepared, if we are doing the groundwork, laying it down, if we're aware of the opportunities coming our way, then we're going to be able to walk through those doors as they open. And that's what this week is really about. So if you felt like you've been stuck, you've been running in the mud, you're not getting anywhere quickly, don't lose hope. Maybe part of it has to do with Mars retrograde. If you still feel like I'm still waiting, when's it going to happen? Prepare for the moment that it does, and hold that feeling of completion, of success in your heart. Hold that vision of you accomplishing your goal. Today, we are at 29 degrees Aquarius. It's the last day in Aquarian energy. So, wrapping up our Aquarian season. Happy birthday to all of my Aquarian friends, because we are moving into Pisces tomorrow. So, Tuesday, the sun's going to move into Pisces, and happy birthday to all Piscean friends. And when we are at the last degree of a sign, whatever planet's in it, but it's called the 29th degree. You go from 0 to 30, essentially, well, 0 to 29, it's 30 degrees, 0 to 29. When we are at that 29th degree, what ends up happening is we are transitioning. It's a pivotal or a critical degree, it's called. It's a tested degree, meaning this is like, did you learn everything you needed to in Aquarius season? Did you learn how to rise above it? Did you learn how to detach from the drama? Did you learn how to think outside of the box? Did you learn how to tune into the frequency of a vibe and decide, this is for me, or I need to shift something to make it more, I'll use balanced, because the Aquarian energy, those two little wavy lines that represent the Aquarian, their symbol or their glyph, that's about matching frequencies. So have you been paying attention to that? Because as we move into the Piscean energy, the waters are going to start picking up, and we want to have a plan. So let's tune in, place your hand on your heart, and I'm going to ask on behalf of everyone, what's most important that you need to know going into this week ahead? And we'll see. I love it. The Empress. Here's why I love this, because it is about, I go back to that beautiful quote, do your work and all is coming. The beautiful Empress, she's expecting. And she represents fertility, abundance, prosperity. But it's not about blinking your eyes and having pots of gold around you, or the job in your hand, so to speak, or the love relationship on your arm. This is about planning. It's about patience. It's about preparing. Think of the expectant mom, whether we're expecting a human baby or a fur baby, we're preparing our home for them. We're doing things so that when they arrive, we'll be able to welcome them into a place that's hospitable, that it's in alignment where they can be received. Maybe that means just getting diapers or making sure there's food in the house, if it's our little puppy friends. Giving yourself that opportunity to say something is coming. There's an expectancy. So again, that's that 29th degree energy too. It's like the arrival is imminent. It's coming. So the reason that it's tested is the energy of the universe. It's saying, okay, do you have the ability to anchor into your faith and truly believe that things are unfolding as they need to be to help get you on the right path? The path that aligns you with your natal promise, with what your soul came here to do. We need to take a moment this week, and I was going back through some of my old inklings, because one was calling out to me where I shared the 5 A's. And these 5 A's, the idea was, how do we shift into a place of hope, into faith? And the first A is anchor. And I'm going to encourage you, anchor yourself in something that feeds your spirit, that connects you to your faith, essentially opens up the channel between you and the divine, God, universe, so that you are in a place where the outside world of distraction, saying this can be, this can't be, you can do it, you can't do it, whatever's happening, the distractions fall by the wayside, and you have a direct channel to source. Because source, God, universe, knows your heart best and knows your plan, what you've come here to accomplish and do. So once you are anchored in that, you're going to be able to more clearly hear the guidance. So we'll talk about the rest of the 5 A's momentarily. But for this week, Know that the abundance of prosperity is coming. Prepare. What can you do? Even though you feel like you might be running in quicksand, what can you do to be ready? So, for my entrepreneurial friends who watch, sometimes that's building the systems in the back end. So, when the floodgates open, you've got the systems in place to handle the, what's the word I want? I'm thinking like in computer terms, the load, the amount of people who would come through. All right. So, Hannah, you really feel it like everything around done, but still not being happened, waiting for Mars direct. Yes, exactly. And sometimes that's like it too, right? Where maybe you're preparing your home for family who's coming to visit and you have everything ready, but they're not there yet. If you're that kind of person, let me know. I so need to talk to you. I'm usually running around like, hopefully they'll be here like a half hour late. Still trying to get stuff done. But sometimes there's just that expectancy. When are they going to arrive? When are they going to get here? Everything's all lined up. It is done. When's it coming? And if that's the case, then what you do is you can continue to anchor in your faith. You do your practice. All is coming. All right. Tuning into this week ahead. I always like to talk about the overarching energy of the week. And let me pause just for a moment. If we haven't met yet, by the way, my name's Irina Miller. I'm an astrologer, spiritual life guide, what I call an energy alchemist. I love to bring together sacred practices to give you the exact tools or energy recipes that really help you navigate life with more grace and ease, that enable you to I say step into the life you were born to live, but what I really mean is to fully live out what your soul's calling is. So let's jump into this. Overarching energy of the week. The moon is in a waning phase. We have a new moon next week on the 27th, but right now the moon is just getting darker and darker and darker. When that happens, there's a natural tendency to want to turn in and be a little bit quieter, a little bit more introverted. Whenever we have a waning moon, it's good for releasing, letting go. We're getting ready to transition from Aquarian energy to Pisces. So let go. Let go, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's of a belief, maybe it's of a food, maybe it's of an activity or a relationship. But take some time and look at where you felt stuck and see if there are things that are no longer in alignment with you. That's no longer a frequency match. If you feel like giving up, if you feel like, oh, I can't go a step farther, I don't know what's going on, it's just not working, breathe. Breathe. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Wait until Mars goes direct. And P.S., just because Mars goes direct on Sunday does not mean that everything's going to change necessarily in the snap of a fingers. It's a process. If you think about a car changing directions, like a car has been moving backwards, let's say backing in somewhere, it takes a moment for it to stop that direction. So that's what it means to station direct, and then to start moving forward again. So allow yourself that moment to remember that changing directions requires a little bit of extra breathing space. And that as we're working towards Sunday, you're going to start to feel it get a little bit lighter. So most likely you're going to feel that shift. Okay. So last quarter moon on Thursday, I'm just going to highlight that because with the last quarter moon or third quarter, tomato, you can call it either way. One of the things about that is I like to go into a practice of forgiveness before the next growth cycle, because a new moon is growth cycle. Before you go into that, you want to make sure that the slate is clean and clear. Because if you're trying to create something from a messy space, it's going to be harder. I always say this, like when I go into the kitchen to cook, if there's dishes on the counter or the dishwasher hasn't been emptied yet, I get frustrated because trying to cook a meal is so much harder than if I go in and the kitchen is clean and I know where all my tools are. I can go get them out, put them in place very quickly and start to work. It's a lot faster and easier. So the idea here is with the last quarter moon, if you have regrets, if you have sorrows, if you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that, or can't believe they did that to me, or oh, this happened, do a practice of just forgiveness towards yourself, forgiveness towards others. I love to go to the Ho'oponopono practice, a sacred tradition from the Hawaiian culture that goes, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I'll just say that over and over until my heart begins to feel lighter. And it does. So whether it's towards myself for making a mistake that I regret, or whether it's towards someone else that I feel has done me wrong or harmed me, it creates a lightness in your heart so that you can be ready for the next growth cycle. And you're not trying to create with all of that baggage brought in. Okay. Let's talk about the week ahead, Monday. So, as we start off Monday, moon's in Libra, but later on in the evening, it'll go into Scorpio. And I like these days where we're still awake when the moon shifts, just so you can feel the subtle little nuances of it. Like last week when the moon went into Leo, holy cannoli, I was so bold. Almost felt like braggadocious with some of the things that I was doing because it's outside my comfort zone. But I got into that Leo energy and I spoke up for myself in ways that I don't normally do. And it was fun and it was a little wild. And then when the moon shifted out of Leo and into Virgo, I felt it shift too. I didn't have the same kind of boldness. And it's interesting just to take note of, how does the moon affect you on a day-to-day basis? That's why I make my moon journal. You guys have seen me talk about this, but I keep track of the moon here. I do have digital copies available. If you're interested, let me know. But with the moon journal, I just track where's the moon, what phase is it in, and what's my mood. So Monday, when the moon is in Libra, you're going to notice that you might be, since it's kind of a decision week and a preparation week, we're at that tested degree. I'm going to encourage you, don't ask 100 different people for their opinions. Libran energy likes to weigh their options and they like to seek experts for advice or friends or just really anyone. I'm a Libra sun. And when we ask all these different people, we're gathering data and information. Libra is an air sign. But what ends up happening is we get overloaded with information and then it's hard to have clarity and it's hard to hear source. And ultimately, we want to connect with source. We want to connect with God, universe. When it's like, okay, show me a definite lead. What's my next best step to reach my goal? You know my heart. So I would encourage you, avoid asking a bunch of people for their opinions on Monday before you make decisions. The moon moves into Scorpio about 7:19 p.m. Eastern. So for my friends on the West Coast, that's about 4:19. For my friends across the pond, I don't think you guys have done daylight savings time yet. So that's 5 hours ahead. So it's going to be midnight. You might be sleeping. But for anyone who's awake around that 7:19 p.m. Eastern, notice if your energy shifts. Scorpio moon is a little bit different. We'll talk about that in a second. But for the moment, let me pull a card for Monday and what's most important that you need to know. Oh, they're jumping out. Nine of Cups, make a wish. Make a wish. This is a fairy godmother card. It's almost the how good can you stand it card. Watch your thoughts today. Watch your feelings. Don't go sharing your dreams and your ideas and what you want to create with the whole world right now. And sometimes we do that even when we ask for advice. Take a moment to simply hold your treasures close to your heart as you are contemplating this movement forward, as you are preparing for when that Mars energy goes direct. And make your wishes. Think of it like the birthday cake. When you blow out the candles, you keep the wish to yourself. So make your wish, make it a big one, and let's see how things unfold as we move over the next few weeks. Because we're also getting ready to move into eclipse season. Eclipse season isn't that far away. And eclipse season has a tendency of helping shake things up. So those wishes that we've been wishing for can come through with more ease. All right. So let's talk about Tuesday's energy, moon and Scorpio. What's most important you need to know. Okay. If you have felt like an outsider looking in, if you have had that feeling of like, there just isn't enough, I'm trying so hard, I just feel like I don't have the resources, that's time, that's energy, it's money, everybody else is making it work. What's wrong? What's going on with me? Breathe. Scorpio energy, like when the moon is in Scorpio, it's very intense and it's very deep. And a Scorpio moon has a tendency, I think of the water signs. You've got, let's see, who kicks it off? Cancer energy. It's a steamy kind of water. It's summertime. Then you have the fixed energy of Scorpio, which is ice. Like I see it as ice. And then Pisces energy, which we move into tomorrow, it's fast moving water. So with the Scorpio moon, we can sometimes get very fixed in our ways. We can get locked in. They have a tendency sometimes, Scorpios, to bury their emotions and their feelings. They tend to put up walls because they feel so intensely. It's their way to protect themselves. But what happens is when we bury the emotions and we put up the walls, we numb ourselves to the intuitive guidance. We can't see it as easily. So she's got her head tucked in and she's feeling very sad and she's feeling abandoned and she's feeling forgotten, but she's not. The traditional card has a stained glass window. There's a church behind her and there's a guardian angel in the stained glass. And the idea is all you need to do is look up. The key to the problems, the key to the solution, to finding the solutions right there all along. And like Alice in Wonderland, all you have to do is look and you can unlock the door and move through. The solution is there. Call on your angels for help. You need to ask. And that's the next A in that 5A part. We anchor. We make that strong connection with divinity, with God, with source. Then we need to ask, like, what do I do? Where do I go? What's going on? And then once we ask, the third A, awareness. We have to look around us. You have to see that there are options all around. So on Tuesday, with the moon in Scorpio, I'm going to encourage you, and the sun in Pisces, it's a lot of water this week, which is emotions, feelings. We could get overwhelmed. We might want to numb out the pain. I'm going to say root, anchor, 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 ground. Create the healthy, energetic field so that you can be fully present and aware without absorbing the feelings. And I'm trying to type and talk, which I can't do. And I'm going to just type and I'm going to put, I've got my freebie, which you can always go to irenamiller.co/get calm. So if you don't have a grounding practice that you like, this is one that I always give to all of my clients when we first start working together. And I love to share with you. That's 2-minute guided audio, visualized meditation to ground. Once you are grounded like that, you can sit with the emotions more easily. You can feel them. I would encourage you, have a plan this week as you go into it to deal with any big feelings that come up, with the intuitive data coming in, because when we get all of that raw intuitive data coming in, that's when things just get way overwhelming. That's why I made my Mastering Intuition course, so that you can learn how to navigate the world of all of these knowings that sometimes just drive us bonkers. And, if you want to know more about that, I'm going to be teaching a free masterclass on that March 5th, 2025. So for those watching live, make sure you get on my email list. If you go to the irenamiller.co.get.com, you'll be on my email list and you'll have insight and information into when I teach that intuitive class. But grounding is a key piece of it. Okay, Tuesday. We talked about Tuesday. Wednesday, moon still in Scorpio. What's most important that you need to know about the moon in Scorpio on Wednesday? Success, the Chariot card. I'm going to get rid of that little thing. So the Chariot card, this is being able to manage chaos. You've got this white horse wanting to go in this direction, the black horse wanting to go to that direction. And the beautiful charioteer says, I can get all of these distractions, all of these projects, these ideas, these situations pulling me in different directions to work together and move forward towards a unified goal. It's a card that represents success. It can represent travel. It can represent your physical car. But you are being encouraged to breathe. If things get a little bit tough on Tuesday, when the sun moves into Pisces and the moon is in Scorpio, if you're overwhelmed, if you're feeling emotionally heavy, success is around the corner, quite literally. Do the grounding practices. Give the water somewhere to go. And you're going to find that you can navigate with a lot more grace and ease. And what I mean by giving the water someplace to go is I instruct a lot of, again, my mastering intuition students to create what I call like a mojo bag, or it's kind of like a little energy medicine bag that you make when you're feeling good. Because when things are heavy and when times are tough, it's hard to remember what picks up your spirits because nothing really seems to. And you write down the songs that you love, the comedians that make you laugh, the books that pick up your spirits, or the movies, or the park that you go to and you feel the weight being lifted off your shoulders. Maybe it's a color, maybe it's a physical item like a blanket or a crystal, maybe it's talking to a particular friend. But write down these things that help you shift your energy, and then you'll have it on hand when things and times get tough, and you can go to it. It'll serve as a little reminder. And with the Piscean energy, I'm going to encourage all of you to lean into the music. We did this weekend. Family member was feeling very, very big emotions. They were feeling sad. They were feeling melancholy. And we just turned on the music and we helped shift the vibe. And next thing you knew, we were all giggling. It's a wonderful thing, music. It's a powerful healer, and it's very connected with the Piscean energy. So it's another way to channel the water or the big emotions. Okay, so let's talk about Thursdays. Yeah, I didn't talk about Thursday yet. We've got a lot of Scorpio energy, a lot of water, like I said. Thursday, this is the last quarter moon. What's most important that you need to know? Two of Cups, partnerships. I love this. There's a couple things that come to mind. Great friendships have the ability to move mountains, whether it's a love match or a soul match or a heart, like a friendship match. When you come together and you join forces, incredible things happen. Even connecting with spirit, where two or more are gathered, you have the ability to really and truly make a difference. And I always think about, well, it's funny because Laverne and Shirley popped into my head. And I remember that show growing up and just loving so much, seeing the camaraderie and all the antics they would get into, but how much they were able to achieve working together. And they'd always sing a song. And the song, I know it wasn't by them originally. Frank Sinatra did it, but I can't remember if it was Doris Day who did it originally. But it was that ant can't move a rubber tree plant, but he's got high hopes, high apple pie in the sky hopes. This is the day, Thursday, that last quarter moon, where you're practicing forgiveness towards yourself. You're bringing in the healing aspect. Or maybe you lean into that trusted confidant, the believing eyes, and you decide, you know what? I'm going to just spend some time with my friend. And I'm going to know that when I'm with my friends, with the ones who truly see my heart, who are my cheerleaders, who are cheering me on, that magic can happen. So be open to the partnerships on Thursday. Be open to the people around you. And sometimes I know it can feel heavy too. It can feel like, oh, well, I don't have a cheerleader in my life. I don't have those believing eyes. And as one of my teachers said, if that's the case, then be those believing eyes for someone else and watch how that shifts your energy. Okay, Friday. So as Friday comes around, Sagittarian energy. So moon is shifting. It's going to feel lighter. Even by Thursday night, it's going to feel lighter. Thursday night at 7:55 p.m. Eastern, so right before 8, the moon's going to shift into Sagittarius. So my West Coast friends, like right at the end of the workday, you should hopefully feel it getting lighter. So Friday with the moon in Sagittarius, what's most important that you need to know? King of Pentacles. Yeah, this is a way the energy shifting, a good way to pick it up. So you know how we started with the 9 of Cups, which is the fairy godmother, make a wish. This is like the angel investor, the person who's going to back your dream and invest in you. Or this is the fat cat card. This is a wise mentor who might potentially come into your life. Maybe it's yourself, but this energy is someone who believes in you. They see what you're trying to do and they say, that's a great idea. I want to invest in you and invest resources. So maybe it's mentoring with time, with their energy, maybe with their money that they're offering to you. But keep going, keep the faith, anchor in your and PS, time out, backing up. Like, what are you anchoring your faith into? I have some very definitive ideas and particular thoughts on that one. But be mindful, where are you anchoring your faith? Because if you're anchoring in your faith in something, and just not to kind of cut to the chase, not to circle around it, If you're anchoring your faith in anything other than God universe, then it's going to disappoint. It's going to fall flat. So make sure that what you are anchoring and what you are feeding your spirit with is something that comes from source, from God. Okay. Alrighty. So with Saturday moon starts in Sagittarius. And later in the evening, about 6:09 p.m., it goes into Capricorn. That's Eastern. Okay, so Sagittarian energy on Saturday. What's most important that you need to know? Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands is a competitive card. And I know they sometimes say, competition is a good thing. It can inspire us to accomplish to greater heights. But here's the thing, the Five of Wands can also represent the competition that you have within yourself, where the places where you've beaten yourself up for not being good enough. So when someone believes in you on Friday, when someone is saying, hey, that's a great idea, or you just feel that within yourself, that knowing of, I have the expertise, I have the knowledge, I can make this happen. Don't second guess yourself and doubt yourself on Sunday by comparing, or Saturday by comparing yourself to everyone else. Oh, what they've been able to accomplish, and they're reaching for that light and flame. And no, 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 no. Stop beating yourself up. Focus on the things that you have accomplished. You're so close, right? Sunday, that Mars energy should be feeling it by then. So be mindful of how you talk to yourself, how you think about yourself on Saturday. And the fire energy of the Sagittarian moon, they love adventures, they love travel. So maybe you just need to get out of your own head and out of your own physical space for a moment and just go somewhere different. Maybe on Saturday you decide, hey, we're going to go out to eat, or we're going to have a picnic by the river, or hey, we just have to do like a trip somewhere. I got to get out of this place. Even if it's an imaginative trip through reading, we travel in our chairs, or through a movie, but allow yourself to just kind of explore other cultures, other traditions, because Saturday might be a day where we just get into our own, where all that fire and energy that's been building up, we end up turning it in on ourselves. And we don't want to do that. Okay. So Sunday, the Capricorn moon. The cool thing about the Capricorn moon is the Capricorn moon is going to help you come up with a plan. Okay. So what's most important that you need to know about Sunday? And the two cards are coming out. Okay. This is why I'm giggling. Good old sexy devil pops out. So the sexy devil, you're so close. You're so close. And this is the one, this is like, let's just say it's a diet. You've done so well. You've been so good all day long, sticking to your original plan. And you've had all the willpower and strength not to have the chocolate chip cookie. And something trips you up, makes you feel less than, and you see that chocolate chip cookie sitting there calling to you, saying, oh, I'm so delicious. Just one little nibble. What's one cookie gonna hurt? Let me tell you what, I don't know about you, but if I open the floodgates with one cookie, it's like one cookie, like after every meal for like months and months and months on end. Like the cookies do not stop. It's not one cookie because you open up the floodgates. So don't be your own worst enemy. This isn't anything outside of yourself. This is just that temptation that comes when we're so tired, when things have been so hard and we're like, oh, I give up. All right, I'll just have the cookie, darn it. Or, oh, I'll just throw in the towel. I'm done. I've had it. Nothing's working. It hasn't worked. Mars is going to, you've like made it. Do not give in to temptation. Because this is the other card that comes up. You got the strength, baby. You can do it. The strength card, the lion within, it's a quiet, determined strength, but she can do it. She can say, you know what? And here's the cool thing about the Capricorn moon is that you realize willpower will only get you so far. Willpower might be an hour where you don't eat the cookie. It might be 10 hours. It might be 2 days. It might be 2 weeks. But eventually our willpower is going to give in and we're going to eat that cookie. Ask me how I know. But if you have a plan, Capricorn moon, if you have strategies in place, if you have the practices in place to help you ingrained, then it's easier to resist the temptation because this is only an invitation into what feels easy and good. And you're like, oh, it just would be so nice. I've had such a tough day. I just need like one drink, or I just need to buy this, or I just need to numb out. Don't do it. You've come so far. You've got the strength Now let Capricorn moon help you put together the plan to achieve your goal. Capricorn moon energy is a visionary. So when we talk about from vision to success, or from dream to reality, or we're talking about manifesting, co-creating with the divine, we have these inspirations. And you might have had all these big ideas and dreams over the last month or weeks. And you're like, okay, but nothing's shifting. Maybe it's even been months. You're like, I'm not getting anywhere. When's it going to give finally? When am I going to see light at the end of the tunnel? It's coming. And Capricorn moon says, okay, let's get that plan in place so that when the door opens, you're ready to walk through it. Preparation and opportunity, that's what makes our luck. And that's what's opening up those potentials and possibilities. So prepare yourself. Come up with the plan. What's the strategy so that when temptation comes, when the quick route, when the it looks too good to be true route comes, it is too good to be true. Give yourself a moment, breathe, reconnect to God universe and say, okay, show me a sign in a clear, easy, gentle, sweet way that I will really be able to see, that tells me what's my next best step. How do I create this plan? It's going to be an interesting week. I'm excited for it. I'm very excited for it. So I want to just recap those 5 A's because I kind of scattered them throughout, and I'm seeing my little notes to myself. But anchor yourself in something that feeds your faith, aka God universe. Anchor. Then once you're anchored, ask, what's your question? What's your prayer or your petition? What are you looking or searching for guidance or help on? Then allowance, meaning you're just still. You're allowing yourself to receive the guidance. You're not saying, oh, no. You're not having a dialogue. You're not trying to negotiate. You're allowing the insights to come through. And then be aware. So we've asked. So now it's time to turn on our eyes, our heart, and our intuition so that when the signs come our way, we can recognize them and then act, take action. When God answers prayers, when the opportunities come our way, take action. Don't question them. don't second guess at that point, right? If it's in alignment with what you've asked for, what you've been opening and allowing yourself to receive, what you've been aware of, the little hints, take action on them. And you can always ask for confirmation from God universe. Like, okay, I just want to make sure, because Irina said something about too good to be true kind of thing. Like, how do I distinguish? There are many different ways to dive deeper into that. But thank you all so much for being here. It is a joy to have this time with you on Monday mornings. If this has been fun for you, if you've enjoyed it, please do like it, subscribe if you haven't yet, share it with a friend. It helps so much to get these sacred practices out. It helps me immensely with the algorithm. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful for you taking the time to tune in and to raise your vibration and to become aware of these practices. You are making this world a better place. And I have so much gratitude for you and all the beauty and the gifts that you bring to this world. So much love to you. Mwah. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye, Hannah. Bye, Julie. Good to have you.